Stanford University.
Good morning, good day, dear friends. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am Brother Phap Hu, and this is Sister True Dedication. We are both joining you from Plum Village, France, in the monastery that was founded by our teacher, Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh. Today's session of iPause, we will dive into discovering and recognizing our feelings and emotions that are present in each and every one of us. So in the last 2 days, in our sharings and in our teachings, we have touched on the practice of mindfulness in our daily life, how to become aware of the breath. And we focus a lot on the body. And yesterday, we also brought our attention to an object, which is the tangerine meditation. And today, we will go a little bit deeper and to become aware of emotions and feelings that are present inside of us. And to practice meditation is, first of all, to have time to be present and to recognize what is happening around us, whether it is enjoying the environment, enjoying nature, being aware of the people around us, but also meditation. It also helps us to go inwards, have time to come inwards to ourselves, to listen to ourselves more. Sometimes there are hidden messages that our body is telling us, or even our emotions are telling us that we need to become more aware of in order to take care of our well-being. So today, Sister True Dedication, she will guide us into a meditation all together collectively. So now I'd like to invite Sister True Dedication.
Thank you, brother, and good morning, everyone. And to those of you who are even further away, good afternoon or good evening. I think many of us may have had quite an array of feelings coming up in recent days or weeks or months, especially on the theme of this contemplation summit, which is our beloved planet. And as we approach the opening of the very important climate summit in Scotland next week, those feelings may have been accelerating a little bit, depending on how much news we are reading or watching. We may have felt many different emotions, whether it's anticipation, maybe even a little bit of desperation, or fear, despair, frustration, perhaps even anger. Our feelings have so many colors to them. And as a meditative practitioner, a contemplative practitioner, our challenge is to become as familiar as possible with this river of feelings in us. And our teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, whom we call Thai, has really shown us that the more we can generate an energy of mindfulness and compassionate awareness throughout our day, in all the little moments of our day, the more we have an energy that is there for us to be able to embrace our feelings as they come up. So for us, today we'll be practicing in the sitting meditation position. But for us, it can be equally powerful to practice while walking, or when emotions come up, even when we are eating, or when we are listening to someone else or watching something. So throughout the day, different feelings may come up at different moments. And it's our energy of mindfulness, of walking, of brushing our teeth, of eating our fruit and tangerine. It's that energy of mindfulness that helps us kind of embrace the feeling that we're experiencing. And you may have seen in some of our teachers' talks that we speak of our emotion arising as one energy And then the energy of mindfulness comes up to embrace that emotion. So there's an interpenetration of two energies. So in the exercise we will practice together shortly, we'll be experimenting with the awareness of one energy and embracing it with the energy of mindfulness. And today we will also make use and really put into practice a very powerful teaching from the Buddhist tradition, and one that our teacher has really developed, which is the insight of interbeing. That sense of profound interconnectedness with all life across the spatial dimension, all life that is on earth in this moment, and also in the time dimension. We are the fruit of so many generations and millennia. And as we sit here, we embody this interbeing nature. So these are the elements that we'll be exploring in today's practice. So we will start with listening to 3 sounds of the bell. And with each sound, I invite you to go deeper and deeper into your feeling, your felt awareness of the body. And it's very nice if you're sitting to be able to not necessarily sit right back against the chair, but perhaps to sit a little bit forward so your spine is really, really holding your body. And this will help with alertness and insight. And we can take a moment to roll open our shoulders, to really open our wings and release some of the little knots of tension that may already be there in our shoulders. You can take a moment to wiggle your fingers. With today's modern devices, we tend to hold and express tension and restlessness in our hands that are reaching sometimes for a keyboard or a device, a screen. And then gently we place our hands one on top of the other in our lap. And you can see if your hands actually can feel your belly a little bit, so that we can really have that felt experience of the breath as our diaphragm gently expands and softens with the in-breath and the out-breath. So our hands are giving us this wonderful information that we're sitting here, we're breathing, and we're alive. And as we enjoy the sounds of the bell, we really sink into our body, savor the feeling of our body in this moment. Breathing in and breathing out. Following the in-breath all the way through and following the out-breath all the way through. Breathing in, breathing out. wonderful mechanism of breathing that is manifesting in this moment. The breath flowing in, the breath flowing out. Breathing in, we extend our awareness from the top of our head and our shoulders all the way down our back to our hands in our lap. And breathing out, we soften and arrive into our body in this moment. Aware of this miraculous body breathing and smiling in appreciation to this miraculous body breathing. Aware of body, smiling to body. And as we become more aware of our body, we may be aware of feelings in the body. Perhaps there may be sleepiness, fatigue. And if we find that, we can smile to it, acknowledge it, allow it to be there, especially if it's early in the morning for us. Good morning, my dear sleepy body. I'm here for you. We're here together. Perhaps as we breathe in, we find a little agitation or restlessness. And as we breathe out, we can soften, relax, and release any agitation or restlessness, sinking deeper into our in-breath and into our out-breath, and into this wonderful body that is our home in this moment. And as we continue to follow the in-breath coming in and the out-breath as it flows out, we may be aware of pockets of tension or pain in our body. And that's very natural. It's the first thing that most of us find when we come back to our body. So take a moment to identify where that tension might be. And if it's in the shoulder, we can gently move the shoulders a little bit. If it's in our jaw, we could soften our jaw. If we find our brow a little furrowed, we can release it. And with each in-breath and each out-breath, gently acknowledging and softening any little pockets of tension that are there in our body that we hadn't noticed until this moment. With each in-breath and out-breath, becoming more comfortable, more at ease, and generating this very gentle, loving presence to be there for our body. Taking a few in-breaths and out-breaths, breathing deeply into the places of tension or pain and softening them on the out-breath. In, aware of pain or tension, breathing out, softening, releasing. as we breathe in, becoming aware of this incredible miracle that is this breathing, warm body, we take a moment to rest in the wonderment of having this beautiful body, the fruit of millions of years of evolution. How old is this in-breath? How wonderful is this out-breath? Where did the warmth that is our bodily warmth first manifest? The warmth of the sun and stars, handed down through millions of years of evolution. My warmth today is the warmth of the whole cosmos. And breathing in, we can allow a smile to manifest on our lips, the yoga of smiling. And breathing out, we can ask ourselves, whose smile is this? Do you share this smile with your parents or grandparents? Perhaps a distant ancestor also enjoyed this smile. Breathing in, I smile, a timeless smile. Breathing out, I enjoy this smile. Breathing in, we know that our body in this moment is supported and embraced by the whole planet, by the wonder of the atmosphere, this wonderful ambient temperature that our planet is offering us in this moment. This is today a habitable temperature, and it is delicious. We can feel the wonder of gravity in this moment, holding our body so gently, just the right amount of resistance. Breathing in this wonderful air from our planet. Breathing out, feeling the wonderful support of this very particular kind of gravity. And as we breathe in and out, we savor this deep connection with all the elements of the earth around us. The air, moisture, ground, and all the wonderful foods and fruits of the earth that are in our body right in this moment, nourishing and healing us. Breathing in and out. We are nourished by the earth, held by the earth. And now, on an in-breath, taking a moment to really ask ourselves, how am I doing? What is there for me? What is coming up? How am I feeling this morning? Perhaps there's a feeling of joy and happiness to be breathing with fellow practitioners. Or perhaps there are other feelings a little bit more uncomfortable. It may be a feeling that you can find a word for. We can imagine that we are like a little child and we bend down very gently and we say to ourselves, "And how are you today? What is there for you?" Breathing, smiling, and listening to what is there in our heart. And if you can find a name for the feeling, it may be sadness, it may be joy, it may be fear, it may be guilt, it may be anger or resentment. We have a dictionary's worth of names for feelings, but perhaps we can find one or two words for our feeling today. And now we say, "My dear little feeling of fear or anxiety, I am here for you. I am here." And we continue to breathe in and out, accompanying our feeling with our mindful in-breath and out-breath, whatever color or flavor this feeling has for us today. We are happy to be here with the energy of mindfulness and compassion to recognize and accompany this feeling. If we found a feeling of fear or anxiety, we can now introduce a feeling of solidity that we can borrow from the earth, from the stability of our posture. And so we have two feelings: our awareness of the stability of the earth inside us in this moment, embracing gently the feeling of anxiety and fear. Breathing in, feeling solid. Breathing out, embracing. And as we breathe, we can pay attention to the smoothness of our breathing that may be reflecting a bit like a seismograph, the jaggedness of our feeling that may have tension in it. And really savoring the breathing, we can soften the feeling itself as it is expressed in our breathing. Enjoying the wonder of the in-breath, the wonder of the out-breath. And if perhaps we have the seed of a feeling of sadness in us, we can take a moment to embrace this feeling of sadness. We lift it up to be embraced also by the feeling of wonder in this present moment. Breathing in, I'm aware there is some sadness in my heart. Breathing out, I embrace the sadness with my love and my care. And on the next in-breath, we can visualize lifting our sadness up to the morning light. Perhaps we can hear birds near where we are. Perhaps there's rays of sunshine. Maybe even the sound of the waves on the beach, or the rustle of the wind in the leaves of the trees. And we open up our sadness to be embraced by the wonders of life in this very moment. And if perhaps the feeling we have found has more the color of anger or resentment, we can say to our anger, my dear little friend, my dear little anger, I'm here for you. And if it's bigger than little, that's also okay. Hello, my rage. I am here for you. Breathing in, we bring our vitality, our love, courage, and compassion to embrace our feeling of anger or rage. And breathing out, we allow the two energies to penetrate one another. Breathing in, aware of the anger. Breathing out, being with and embracing my anger. We know that our anger may have a lot to tell us about where we are hurting, about where we're afraid, what we're afraid of. And we can even ask ourselves, is there some hurt, some fear behind our anger as we breathe in and out with gentleness, with compassion? Breathing in, we come back to the awareness of being alive, alert, and awake. Breathing out, how wonderful to be alive, alert, and awake. Breathing in, we connect again to the awareness of our beautiful planet with all her creativity, her patience, her freshness, her solidity. And breathing out, we know that we belong to this beautiful, creative, complex planet. Breathing in, feeling solid. Breathing out, feeling alive. And breathing in, taking a moment to touch the impermanence of the different feelings we have visited this morning. How they've changed shape, changed in intensity, softened a little bit. Breathing out. We know that thanks to impermanence, all life is possible. Breathing in. I know this is a wonderful moment. Breathing out. I know this is a precious moment to be alive. Wonderful moment, being alive. Thank you, dear friends, for this moment of practice together. We can take a little moment to offer some care and love to our body, in particular the parts of our body where we may have felt the feelings arising the strongest. Our dear wonderful body, we suddenly had a bit of a journey inside to see everything that was there. So we are more fully here now that we know what's going on. In our tradition, we know that our aspiration is one of the most important elements that can carry us through our feelings of strong emotion. We want to give rise to a deep intention to do something with our life, to contribute something positive. And when we visit our emotional landscape in this way, we discover what other energies may have been pushing or driving us or pulling us in different directions. And with the energy of clear intention and aspiration, we want to find ways to metabolize these feelings into the energy of action. And so that energy, whether it's of fear, anxiety, frustration, or anger, or even sadness, they all have their counterpart, which is the wish to love, to protect, to save, to care for, to contribute, to offer our energy of vitality to the world. And it's by becoming familiar with and taking care of our feelings and their deep roots that we can move through to an energy of action. We kind of metabolize our feelings. And we can say that our feelings are not only ours, they reflect the suffering that is there in our planet and in our society. We just happen, they are moving through us, and we happen to bear witness to them through our own being. So thank you for this taster, this exploration exercise with us this morning. If you have any questions or any insights that came up for you, we would love to hear them. I believe you have a way to raise your hand, and it would be wonderful to hear from a few of you, if that is possible. Tia would like to share something. Please go ahead, Tia.
Thank you for your holding the space in which we could meet and transform our emotions as you beautifully guided us. If we're practicing on our own and we start to feel caught in the undertow of an emotion, what is the guidance you can provide us to help us honor the intensity and also work with the feeling that it has expanded us out of a place of feeling able to hold it and be observing? How do we rescue ourselves when we're in the undertow?
Thank you for that question, Tia. So you'll have noticed in our practice today, we kept the thread of the breathing. So our breathing is like the anchor, the rope that we always want to hold on to. When we have an acute emotion, a very strong emotion, the undertow or the overwhelm, so it might feel like a tsunami or like a riptide. When we have those kind of emotions, our practice is first of all 100% concentration on our breathing to re-establish equilibrium and to generate the energy of mindfulness that can then help us embrace the emotion. So what we did just now is like a midway practice. So we have both the breathing and we're inviting a certain emotion to be present, to manifest. We're recognizing it. But when we're in a really acute state, a crisis has happened, our mind is sending us on a spiral. In our tradition, and our teacher teaches us, it's like we imagine we're a tree and we go down to the trunk of the tree. We don't stay up in the branches. This is not a moment to trust the mind. In Buddhism, we know that the mind is a painter. We shouldn't believe every thought that manifests. We shouldn't identify ourselves with our thoughts. Our thoughts are not necessarily us. They are a part of the complex river that we are, and they may be very mistaken. But the breathing is very tangible, very real, and very solid. So we come back to take refuge in our breathing. And there's a very powerful practice, which some of you may have heard of, which is the 10 breaths practice, where we train ourselves to take 10 full in and out breaths without thinking. When I first started this, it took me 3 months to train myself to be able to do this. You kind of count up, and then when you have a thought, you have to start counting again at 0. And in your most acute moments of despair or fear or rage, this can be very, very helpful to focus only on the felt experience of the breathing, the visceral experience of the tummy expanding, the lungs expanding, the whole mechanism of breathing, and become so fascinated in the experience of breathing from within the body that no thought has a chance to arise, because we're entirely in all of the different felt perceptions that our body has. And this will help the mind to have more clarity. And so, for example, in an acute moment, it may be 10 minutes of belly breathing, fully concentrating on the breathing, or even 15 minutes, before we then come back to visit the emotion and what is really going on, and any thought or action that or words that we may need to say or to take. So for us in those acute moments, the motto is, don't trust the mind, go back to the body. Trust your breathing more than the body in these moments. And our mind is an embodied mind, and it's the clarity and the rootedness in our breathing that gives rise to the clarity and insight in the mind after we have reestablished our equilibrium. We may think you may have the impression that is bypassing, but in fact, we're addressing the feeling at the root, because the feeling also exists in the body. And by meeting it in the body, we're addressing it at its root. So it's not bypassing, we're really embracing it at the base.
Thank you.
And can I just add that our teacher always encouraged us to practice mindful breathing when we're also happy, because we need to establish this technique, and we need to establish this trust with the breath. We have to it will become our life jacket once we're so overwhelmed. We know how to wear it right away. And our teacher always encouraged us, his students, he's like, don't wait for the storm to practice. At that moment, it's too late. You won't remember, you won't have a refuge to come to. So that's why our direction of applied Buddhism, we call it the art of mindful living, because we can put these mindful breaths a little bit here and there through the day, so that we can establish this habit of mindful breathing, this habit of coming back to the breath and trusting it. And so on days that we are well, we are happy, we are at ease, enjoy those breaths, enjoy the sensation of each happy breath, and that becomes our foundation. So when we meet a difficulty, our emotions manifest, we know how to come back and take refuge in it. So that's just an encouragement. Thank you, friends.
Thank you. So a question about premonition. We have a deep understanding of consciousness, and our teacher has written some wonderful books on this, in particular a book called Understanding Our Mind. And we speak about our store consciousness, which is our collective consciousness, which we all share. And I think some of us may be more or less sensitive to collective consciousness. And we hope as we become more aware of our own body and mind, we can become more attuned and sensitive and better able to listen to the world, better able to listen to the people we live with, and better able to understand in certain contexts and situations what is happening. So in our meditation, when we are aware of thoughts coming up, sometimes we say that we let our thoughts pass like clouds in a windy sky, or another image is that we're sitting on the bank of a river and we allow the thoughts to flow by. A key point in meditation is not to grasp at or attach to things as they come up. We want to rest in our felt, grounded, embodied experience of the present moment. And the thoughts are just one element passing by in that. So we wouldn't get caught into saying this is or isn't a premonition, or this is or isn't reality. We don't have this extended thought in our meditation. We just want to stay rooted with our actual experience of this present moment and what is going on through the felt senses is our primary base for investigation. I hope that goes some way. Thank you, Yasmin.
I think we have to end.
Yeah, I think we're coming up on our time. Is that right, Tia?
Thank you for your wisdom and your guidance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes.